Welcome to Bonehead Weekly. Hi.
Meh.
Huh?
Did you
Oh,
change the view?
I did. I changed it.
Okay.
I changed it to where it goes, Joe, wash hands. Oh, that's because I just peed. I mean,
Normal view.
I also
That's
changed the
that
background color.
that's an obscure reference. If anybody gets what that's from, you're cool. Oh,
Really?
according to me. But then again, I'm reading The Old Die Rich. Anybody know what The Old Die Rich
I
is about?
I thought
uh
at first I thought you said the old diuretic.
Diarrhea. Yeah, I thought he said old diarrhea.
No, neither. Old Die Rich.
I was like, isn't the old diuretic coffee
It's
or beans? It's probably beans.
Beans. Beans. You kids like the beans? Are the beans ready, Chad?
What time is it?
Is Zorro on?
I don't
Like
think Zorro's been on
cheese.
for a while. Y'all remember when the Family Channel? Y'all remember the Family Channel and they had that Zorro show on there?
I do a
Nope.
little bit, yeah.
Yeah, it was a good show. Yeah, I mean, I
Was it?
remember. Well, for a kid that liked superheroes before superheroes were on TV, I remember enjoying the Zorro show that was on. But there weren't a lot of superhero shows, so that's what we had.
Huh.
We
Well,
had to
when you
walk
were
up.
born, James, I want you to remember we were born in the same year. We had Batman. We had the Green Hornet.
Well, the old ones, yeah, but you had to see, Chad. I think you've forgotten. Uh, there used to be a time period when we didn't have on demand, and you had to watch whatever the heck was on.
Yeah, yeah, I know. But I still had Batman.
Yeah, but Batman wasn't on. Zorro was on. I couldn't just
I never had a time when Zorro was on.
really.
Yeah,
Oh,
not once.
that's
And if it
that.
is, I didn't watch it.
I know. I do remember. Like it actually had a pretty good plot line for a Family Channel Zorro show. Now it
And
wasn't.
whenever I did know the Lone Ranger was on, and I didn't watch that shit.
Uh,
I never got into the Long Ranger either, but I'm not quite for sure what the hell we're doing here.
why? By the way, do you know why
Well,
his
whenever we start a show, we don't know what the hell we're doing.
We always have a topic. Well,
We
no,
have a
unless
topic, but then we spend 10 minutes on a tangent. You're just mad because it's not your tangent.
no,
no, but
that's not it at all.
do you this
I
is
invented
serious.
Zorro.
No, you did not.
Hail Satan.
Uh, um,
That's a callback, folks, to something you all weren't even there for. Keep going.
um. No, did you know why the horse was named Silver?
Trigger.
No,
No, I
Silver.
wasn't the horse named Silver.
Allegedly, one of the original sponsors was the Silver Bread Company, and so they named the horse. And I don't know if that's true. I was told that
I've never had
it
any
was.
silver bread.
Well, I don't think they exist anymore.
I
Probably
had some
because
silver balls, or is it
probably
bells?
probably because you can't make bread out of silver. That was something I did.
Well, did I have silver balls or bells? Don't you all remember? If this was the Family Guide cut to some sort of obscure
Oh,
cutaway.
but anyway, yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
we
So
did go.
anyway,
Probably. I think it. People
All I
like.
can say is if you would put your mailbox at normal height, you wouldn't have silver balls. There you
No,
go.
that's a stretch with my balls. We all went and saw a movie, and you all enjoyed it. I'm
Yeah.
still
yeah.
wrestling. I liked it, but I'm still 60-40 of because I haven't had any of those nightmares those people were talking about.
And by the way, I meant to send you all a an article from the director. I was right about the why he looked the way that he looked. I'm not giving any spoilers.
Oh, that's the reason he won. Yeah, the doll.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
No,
makes sense.
well, I'm sorry. I was not all the way right. I was sort of right. Let me rephrase that.
Well,
So you
now,
were
but
not right, and I need to go read the interview with Osgood Perkins,
Yeah, yeah. No, I was
the
sort of
director
right.
of Longlegs.
Yeah, yeah. I was sort of right.
They could have explained it in the movie.
Again, they don't have to explain everything. Just
no,
enjoy.
I think it'll be a prequel. I think we'll get we'll get something out of this because it's made too much bloody money, and I'm excited. I no, I did enjoy. I'll be honest, Joe. I'm with you though. I haven't had any nightmares, and
I haven't. I haven't.
No, I
somebody
haven't either.
actually posted on Twitter, "Is this what you people are afraid of?" And they had a picture of Nick Cage from the movie,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, and that's the entire thing. I think that's why I liked it. He's not scary. he's not traditionally scary.
Yeah,
Like
no,
he's not Samara coming out of the well.
No, he looked like a combination of Dee Snider and Joan Rivers.
I was gonna go with maybe the Joker too, but
I'm not seeing the Joan Rivers thing.
how about Carol Channing? Would you accept Carol
Carol
Channing?
Channing? Or maybe.
Skidoo.
It's just
Skidoo.
wonderful that you're Carol Channing.
Yeah.
We're all Carol
What the
Channing
hell
now.
they call that movie? Skidoo.
I don't know.
But
But anyway.
scripted that. If we told people it happened, they'd call us liars.
So, what's tonight's topic? Who picked this again?
Me.
Yeah, this is a
Chad.
Chad. This is a
So,
Chad. It's a good one, I think.
The topic of today's episode is movies about people who are just having a really bad day.
Can I do this? Can I do it really quick?
Okay.
Cause you had a bad day. Something, something, something. I don't know
Something.
the rest
He
of the words.
didn't bother to look up the lyrics
No.
because he had a bad.
Day. I am a bad day. Go ahead, Chad.
I don't think there's anywhere we can go from here other than just start the damn show.
I'll go to hell.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh wait, I'm already there,
You
dear.
You jumped in on the intro to not even prepare for your jumping into it. You just said, I had a bad day.
yeah.
You could
Your
have
intro was also we're going to talk about movies about people who had really bad days.
Yeah, and then you immediately cut me off to do your
What else
thing.
were you going to say about it?
Well, now I don't know because I was going somewhere, and now I don't even know because I'm all.
Were you
flustered.
really going somewhere?
To
You
hell
just
if you
covered
yeah,
it
go
right
sure.
now.
ways.
You cut off me and James' conversation because
don't
it
know what
wasn't
you're
one of
talking
your
about.
tangents.
I don't know in the tangent because I had a bad day. Something, something, something. Do. Hail Satan.
Is that just a rapper?
No,
Of a
that's the
Pringle
Pringles
can?
dude.
Wiki yo yo bang bang.
Or is that a magnet? It's
The
just a
Pringles
rapper,
dude
right?
makes Pringles, dude.
Did you go
Don't
to
make rap.
Did you go to the store next to your house and buy a bunch of those that were in the cart for 99 cents?
No, why didn't you tell me about those? No, see Dana. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, I got
It was
the thing
Texas.
over here.
It was Texas brisket flavored too.
Oh no, see Dana. These harvest blends are slightly healthier. She really loves the cheese ones. This is empty.
But
It's
they're
near where.
harvesting kidneys to make those.
Is it my kidney? And
Could
besides
be.
squirrel
If you had a bad day,
killer, I ain't gonna take anything from you.
oh my God, I have caught now 2 squirrels, which is way better than the possum and skunk that I caught previously.
So
And I'll tell you all about it in my book. J.D. Vance is a carpetbagger. None of this book has got anything to do with him, but I want to ride some of his press for the next 20 days. Please
Yeah.
get the best seller list. I'm going to tell you a story about a squirrel, a possum, and Chad Jennings. J.D. Vance will never come back up. This is a long ass book title by Joe Lewis.
now, what you can do though is abbreviate that each
He
individual
ain't
letter.
from here. Sorry.
Oh man, I do
J.D.
enjoy,
Vance, hail Satan.
I do enjoy all the things people are giving him hell about. Like, oh, he washed his
Iron skillet in the dishwasher.
Hey, by the way, not everybody's going to get that.
No, and Barbara asked about something, and I said, I swear to God, if I couldn't explain it to you, you literally have to. I'm sure there's shit about Wisconsin. I just can't explain it to you.
Yeah, we don't understand the cheese curd science. I mean, I enjoy cheese curds.
Cheese curds, yeah.
Yeah, but I appreciate the fact that I can go into that and there's a cheese chalet or some variation thereof every 6 miles. And the one time Joe Lewis asked me to pick up some cheese and I stopped and I said, "Hey, my friend's looking for this apple. Will you put
Jack?
Yeah, if you put apples in cheese, now we got grape cheese, we got blah blah. Apples and cheese, that's bad. I'll never forget that as long as I live. That person that ran the cheese shop that had chocolate cheese, had blah. As soon as I said it's apple jack, what apples and cheese? That's just crazy. I'm like, you have grape cheese over there.
I know.
That's not an apple. Dude, I'm not making any of that up.
I know you're not. And I remember apple, and I can't remember who told me about it, and I had it. Now I have to find somebody else.
Yeah, so let's get to our topic. Or
didn't one of your
hold on.
Hold
Go, Chad. He's got to go off of one of his tangents. Is not about him. Get back to Chad.
Didn't one of your wasn't one of the custodians? at Moorhead used to bring you Applejack? Wasn't that the case?
What the fuck is
don't
Applejack?
Lloyd?
What the fuck is
Well, it's
Applejack?
a horse from My Little Pony, but I don't know that
No,
because I'm not a
it's a
brony.
cereal. Is it a cheese? What?
It
Yeah,
was a
it was a
cheese.
really good cheese I had. It was a Jack cheese with, and it didn't really have apple
Oh,
chunks
Monterey
in it.
Jack. Monterey Jack.
No, that's a character from
Rescue
Chip and
Rangers.
Dale, Rescue Rangers. Yeah,
Oh,
that was
whatever.
funny.
Now, me, Chad, I'm a Red Leicester fella. I get that in England when I'm over there. It's good. If you have now, Kroger, their cheese shop has one that says it's like Red Leicester. It's not. Also, it's expensive, and it's on the buffet over there in England, and
I
they
always
pay
like
for
to
me to
get
eat
that.
it.
I always like to get that Jarlsberg dip they got there, James, with the onions.
That's
and
good
whatnot in it.
stuff.
When
Oh,
they
yeah,
have
it's
it on,
okay.
when it's on manager special.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah.
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 By the
Otherwise,
way, do you
can't
think
afford it.
the people are starting to realize what we're trying to do is make them the people that snap, so we have them to talk about next week?
Because they had a bad day. I found the Lincoln Town car switch for the Lincoln Town car I sold 15 years ago, and they had a bad day. Kick
Well,
it in the car.
Well, it'd be really funny if it
I'm
was
sorry.
haunted and the car follows you now. I'd watch like the pilot for that show.
It's a Ford. It never would have made the trip.
Oh man.
I just pissed off the rest of our viewer.
Oh no. Oh well. By the way, I just apropos of nothing. But speaking of having a bad day, and then I promise, Chad, we'll get on with the show. So you all may remember I own a Kia, and this will cost us any Kia sponsorship, but I don't think that was going to happen anyway. And the speedometer and odometer went out of it about 3 years ago. And I took it to get it fixed because they said, "Hey, bring it in when you fix that." And then they couldn't, and they took all my money. They had me pay for it, and they, "Oh, it's warranty, don't worry about it." And then when I went, it didn't even get out of the parking lot before it failed again. I went back there like, "Oh, just download the app," and I didn't get any of the money back. Well, at the time, which is over 2 years ago, I did a
Feels
Better
like this is
Business.
the second time I've heard this story this week, Chad.
No, this is an update. So
Oh, it's an update.
Oh my
because
God! Robert
I-
Stack has walked in the room. Update.
I could
Unsolved
not.
mysteries.
I could not have scripted this. We talked about it last night at 8 o'clock. I get an email from the Better Business Bureau saying, "Oh, Kia of America has finally responded to your Better Business Bureau complaint." I'm like, "What? I didn't file one recently." They've responded to it from 2 years ago. Over 2 years ago. It was July 8th, 2022 is when I filed the report saying, "Hey, they didn't honor the warranty. They didn't refund the money. They didn't blah." They responded July 24th, 2024. And they said, "Hey, did this get resolved?" That's literally all they put. And I responded,
No.
no. I did respond, no. And then I went into detail. As a matter of fact, I showed images where they had refused my calls and didn't answer emails. And I sent all that back to them. So if you were
Then
hoping
they sent
that,
you a picture of them with a cigar in their mouth, just holding your money.
I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, seriously, Chad, and this is true. My wife has even heard me say this. I would rather be told to go to hell than be ignored. Right? I mean, tell me because at least then I know where I stand.
Huh?
But don't just ignore me. I mean, if you matter, don't just ignore me.
He will
Feel
do
free to go
all,
back.
he will go all Glenn Close. There'll be some rabbit in some pots.
I would not do that to a rabbit, but I'll cook a good
Would you do it to a
close.
squirrel?
Find a fat one. Nature,
Space.
now that I've vented my spleen about Kia and the fact that it took them 2 years to respond to a Better Business Bureau complaint, we can. No, it's fine. It's fine. I still won't have a working car. It's fine. It's fine. I'm just. Anybody want to go first? Anybody want to go first?
I think we should let Chad talk.
No, you guys go ahead. I'm good. I'll just sit back. Joe, go ahead. What's your first pick?
Well, I'll make it short. Picture it. 1994. A man, or 95. I think it's 95. And you are so excited because you are going to see a movie where two people meet on a day because their kids are doing crazy things and they're single parents and they've got the day. And then you said one, is it supposed to be a bad day?
Yes, we talked
Not a
about
good
this.
day? So I can't
No.
use one fine day where Batman and Catwoman hook up?
Yes, no.
Well, then you're gonna have to make me do another George Clooney. Now, see what you done. You got me talking politics, Chad. You see what you did. So I'm gonna have to go to another movie. I really was just did that to make James laugh. So obviously it
Okay.
doesn't work
Yeah.
on
Well,
Chad.
yeah. No, as soon as you said it, I'm like, he just went to One Fine Day. What the fuck is he doing?
You want to know the truth? Seriously, kept giggling to myself, rolling the trash out today, going, one fine day. Oh, look, you Batman and Catwoman hooked up.
Oh my
And
God.
then I don't know. I'm just laughing about it. My
And
actual
and
pick,
one is a good character and the other one not.
who's not? Is he not?
He
Or she's
sucks as
not?
Batman.
Oh, I thought you were talking
She
about it
is
one
really
fine day.
she's really good
I thought you were talking
as
about one
Catwoman.
fine day.
No.
All right. Well, fine. You're going to make me do another terrible, another movie with George Clooney. Let's do From Dusk Till Dawn. What do you think about that one, gentlemen?
Doable.
It's kind of doable. And it takes place, there's so many, actually, I didn't realize till I started looking it up how many, and I knew all of them for the most part, how many Bad Day movies there are.
Oh yeah, there's ton. I didn't even look any. I mean, I'd never do, but
There's
No,
I have a
yeah.
whole list.
I didn't
there,
need a list for this one. No,
there
there's
is
Mm.
so many. But, is it a bad day for the family? Is it a bad day for the Gecko brothers? It's a bad day for those vampires later that night.
Yeah.
Nobody gets out of that movie unscathed.
Well, no.
I mean, Juliet Lewis has to blow up her brother.
Yeah. And she loses her father. Yeah.
And she loses her father, but she literally has to shoot her brother as he's singing in Jesus Christ's name. It blows up.
Yeah.
A lot of religion this week. Why is there a lot of religion? Harvey
G
Keitel?
Davy. Do
Harvey
you think
Keitel?
it's God?
He get blown up. Tom Savini gets his head ripped off.
But there was no relation. He was just in the bar.
He's having a bad day. You get your head ripped off and you lose your new Joker hat and your head's laying over there next to that new Kia you bought. You're going to be upset. You're
I
going to be,
don't
well, where's my Joker hat? Can't
don't
find it. My head's all the way over there.
don't talk about losing my Joker hat. I like my Joker hat.
What about the
And look,
Kia?
when I turn it backwards,
Yeah.
ha ha ha.
Oh, yeah. It actually says ha 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 in case you forget what the Joker says.
Yeah.
Did you get one of those tattoos that says Chad on you? So
My
property
dad.
of, return
Ooh.
to,
Oh, I need to, don't I?
return to somewhere at the Kroger Heartland.
Just
My-
have the QR code.
My
And somebody
father.
scans it and it says, "Fuck you, Joe Lewis."
This is actually, yeah, that'd do it.
That'd
My
be
father's
one-
a true story. Actually, one year for Christmas, somebody gave him a belt, a very nice leather belt, but it also had his name on it.
Mm.
And my father, for the life of that belt, actually for the life of my father, until he died, would refer to that as his dog tag belt. You know, just in case he forgot his name. Let me look down. That's my dog tag belt.
I agree. Come to think about it, Chad, there is, and James, I guess I should include you as well since you're
No,
part
it's
of the
fine.
show.
Just who the hell am I? Why am I
There
here?
is no one in that show that has in fact, even Cheech's final character gets punched in the nose just for showing up and bringing a Porsche with cold beer.
Yep.
He said it was a rowdy place and it's open from dusk till dawn. You wanted to eat it, meet in the morning. He gets punched in his face for
Yep.
helping.
Yep. That's not a good movie. It's not a happy movie for anybody.
No good deed goes unpunished.
That's true. I just think it's one of those movies where it's not just one main character is having a bad day. They all are. And I feel bad for them. Because if they're one fine day, Chad, they'd find love.
But in all fairness, if you look at the positive, because that's what
One
I do.
fine day, there isn't one.
I always look at the positive. George Clooney, yeah, he lost a brother, but his brother was a rapist, so he doesn't have to deal with that shit anymore.
That's true.
And in all fairness, if memory serves, he got to see Vampire Selma Hayek.
And he gets in a Porsche at the end, and I think he still has the money.
Yeah. So it all worked out fine for George Clooney's character.
I mean, he's been through a lot though. It's a rough day.
Yeah, it's not a good one. It's not. Oh, it's not. Oh, look, I found $20.
Found $20 and everybody was covered in blood. He already brought the money and everybody ended up covered in blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only problem he has is his last name's Gecko.
Why is
Right?
that a problem? Why do you hate geckos?
Could be worse. Could have been Geico. Got
Yeah.
that lizard.
Yeah. All right, who's next?
Chad, you want me to go?
Yeah, go ahead, bud.
I'm going to tell you the story of woe about people having bad days. And this bad day, these gentlemen go on a quest. I would argue an epic quest, and they want one simple thing that should be easy to get, but no matter what happens, they can't get to it. And they end up, one of them ends up getting attacked and bit by a possibly rabid raccoon. One of them ends up getting, I mean, their social lives are falling apart. They've got to deal with a hitchhiker that's high on ecstasy. Just it's one thing after another, and then at the end of the day, an escaped cheetah comes into play, gentlemen, and that is the bad day that befalls Harold and Kumar when they just want a cheeseburger, man. Not just any cheeseburger, they want White Castle.
Well, they want to
They
get
go to
high
where?
and have White Castle.
Well, yeah, but when they get to White Castle, which should be an easy journey, what happens, Joe? It's been replaced by some place called Burger Shack, and the employee tells them, well, "Yeah, we know it's not as good, but the nearest White Castle is now blah 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 blah," and they have to get. And honestly, I think the reason this movie immediately came to mind when Chad pitched this topic is because the way that I normally start off with the bad day is I take a lot of crap. Crap befalls me all the time. I can't get what I order at
You
restaurants. I can't
do
get all
live
that
in a
stuff.
first world country, though, so let's.
But and that actually leads to my point. I know in many ways I'm fortunate. I have clean water. I have blah blah. But what often
How the
happens
hell did you get
is,
clean water?
uh, um, I ran a hose over to my neighbors. Anyway,
Oh, that
no,
makes sense.
uh, but
What,
no. In all
what James
honesty,
doesn't know is his pipes have been redirected from Flint.
What he doesn't know is that I've been cleaning his pipes. Oh yeah,
no.
yeah,
In all
and
honesty,
Flint.
that's I think the reason my that this movie came up in my mind when Chad pitched this was because normally, and even my wife says this, I'll have something happen, and usually it'll be something real bad. I'll get bad news. I'll be like, okay, fine, whatever, and that will get me. Like I'll be like, whatever, and then something else will happen, whatever. It will literally be the end of the day when I'm like, hey, I'll order a burger somewhere, and they'll be like, okay, and then they'll put I won't get my order, and that's when I'll lose my mind and be like, what's wrong with you people? And that is, and that's why I thought Harold and Kumar go to White Castle because, in all fairness, the rabid, possibly rabid raccoon, they're like, okay, we're still going to go get White Castle. But it's the fact that White Castle is evading them. I think that's why it made me think of this movie immediately as a movie about people that are just having bad days. All they want is a simple, bloody White Castle burger from White Castle. And he even has that scene where he goes, no, 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 I want this now. I want this. I don't want something close to it. I just want this. And I think that's why I thought about this because it really is. It's the way my mind works too. Is I'm a pessimist. I assume everything's going to suck all the time. But when it gets down to like, I just need one little win. And when that last win falls through is when I lose my temper. And so it's immediately what I thought of. It's like, oh no, no, that's fine. The rabbit raccoon, okay, fine. Oh, Neil Patrick Harris is high on ecstasy and won't leave us alone. Okay, we'll get through that. What do you mean the White Castle moved? And so yeah, Harold and Kumar go to White Castle and the sequels. I mean, really, that's what they are all about too, right? One bad thing after another,
Oh,
and that's
basically.
what I immediately came to my mind when Chad said that we should do one about somebody's bad day, the worst day, and Harold Kumar go to White Castle immediately popped into my head.
I
Chad,
agree. Chad.
So mine. So you're a guy who thinks you're special.
No.
You think the world revolves around you,
Mm, just James.
but in reality, you're just a troll,
That's accurate.
and you take your trolling a little too far.
Well, only when I'm bass fishing.
You anger some people. They come into your home. They beat the shit out of you, and you wake up the next morning, and suddenly your hands have now been drilled into and two guns attached
it's
to
a good
them.
one. It's a good
Yeah.
one.
I'm, of course, talking about Guns Akimbo.
Or bass fishing Joe.
If you haven't seen Guns Akimbo, people, it's kind of one of those movies that kind of slipped past the radar. and I think it was on mine and James's list. I don't know if it made
I
Joe's.
didn't watch it till after the year in review, but it's a
Okay,
lot of fun.
yeah, it was made mine and James's favorite movie list a few years ago, and for good reason. It's a lot of fun. Uh, it stars Harry Potter, Daniel Radcliffe, who I can't speak for the other two, but he's one of my favorite actors now.
He's not one
Oh
of my
yeah.
favorite actors, but he's definitely done the right things and transitioned well, and he's a really good actor.
He's one of my favorite
I agree with
actors.
Chad. He's one of my favorite because Woman in Black.
That's a good movie too that nobody talks about.
It's yeah. So no, I would agree.
I mean, he does movies that are off the radar, and every role he picks is amazing. He's great in Horns. He's great in Woman in Black. He's great in Guns Akimbo.
He's
He's
good in
great.
Horns. The movie Horns lets him down.
Swiss Army Man.
Swiss Army Man.
That's
Thank you,
better.
James. And he's great in the TV show Miracle Workers, where every season he plays a new character. Um, but anyway, with Guns Akimbo, yeah, he wakes up. He has these weird devices that are strapped to his hands, and then he has these the guns bolted through his hands. His fingers are drilled into the gun itself, and he says, "You have 24 hours to kill your opponent. If you don't kill this person within 24 hours, we kill you. If you try to escape, we kill you." And keep in mind, not only is he trying to, not only are people trying to kill him while he's trying to kill this person, he's doing all of this in a bathrobe and boxers and a white t-shirt
Which
because he can't change anything because again, his hands are completely drilled into guns, and he's also an asthmatic who's trying to do an inhaler with no hands.
I was to say, and Chad, you're absolutely right because actually one of the most how bad a day can this get is the scene where he tries to put on pants.
Right. And he
And
can't do it.
he's going to end up shooting himself in the leg if he keeps trying because he can't move his fingers without
Yeah.
shooting.
Yes. So yeah, the movie just keeps getting worse for poor Daniel Radcliffe and Guns Akimbo. And it's kind of a comedy slash action, in some ways, a little bit of horror, if you look at it a certain way. But yeah, it is a epitome of a movie about a bad day, in my opinion. So that's my first pick. Joe, what's your second?
I think I'm probably going to steal this from somebody, but this is one of those movies that,
You're not going to steal anything from me, if trust me.
okay, but this is one of those where it is such a bad day happening to a bad person, but he's not really an awful person. He's not a good person either. But it was written by somebody who they made a documentary about a couple years ago, who just wrote so many great scripts and made a few decent movies, Larry Cohen. And it ended up, it's a one location movie that we talked about. I almost didn't use it, but I just love it. And it is another one of those, what an awful, shitty day. But it's Joel Schumacher's Phone Booth with Colin Farrell.
I was on my list, Joe. I'm glad you did it because I was debating.
Yeah, I was debating too. I almost cut it out, but I guess people still remember it. For some odd reason, I thought it was newer than it is, but it came out in 2002. So the movie's actually 22 years old now. But it's about a guy. He's a publicist, so you already know he's a D-bag. The movie's only 82 minutes, but it's perfect. It's the perfect length, don't you all think?
Yep.
Yep.
It's just the perfect length. And he finds himself in a phone booth pinned down by somebody who's got a sniper rifle, who's voiced by Kiefer Sutherland, and he can't get outside help, and he's negotiating, and it just keeps kind of building and building and building, and you would think, oh, this has got to be fairly boring because it takes place in one location. No, Larry Cohen's script just goes just like this. And it stars Colin Farrell, Kiefer Sutherland. I actually forgot Forrest Whitaker and Katie Holmes were in it, and Radha Mitchell.
It's
Crush
I
it.
was about to say it being in one location actually makes it that much more because it becomes
Yeah,
claustrophobic.
yeah, it does.
It's so tight. It's so and there's nothing he can do.
Nothing. And he's stuck there. And I don't know. It's just one of those
Because
movies.
you're right, he's not a great guy. Like there's times
But
when
he's
you're at
also
the
not a serial killer.
yeah, there's times in the beginning actually I think it's somewhat easy going, oh, he's wronged somebody and they're getting back at him, but then that's really not it.
No, it's not it at all.
It's he yes he did he's a scummy guy, but he's not he doesn't deserve what he's facing.
Right, absolutely. And it's kind of like a Saul type of thing where why is he there? Why is it him? Why is he having to re-examine his life? I really
Yep.
enjoyed it. Larry Cohen ended up, of course, if you do some research on it and watch the documentary Citizen Cone, he was a fantastic B movie director and writer and wrote a ton of scripts. A lot of them wouldn't even be produced, and some of them were produced and produced under other names. But he
Huge
would
William
eventually, in the
difference.
next 2 years, write another movie that's close with Halle Berry called Cellular, where they're in the trunk, right, in the car.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is that Halle Berry or Kim Basinger?
I don't remember. For some odd
I think
reason,
it's Kim Basinger.
it was Kim Basinger. Okay, sorry about that. So he'd rip his
I
own self
think.
off.
I think.
But Phone Booth is by far, yeah, that's by far the best movie he didn't direct that was written by him, in my opinion. So
Yeah.
check it out if you've never seen it.
Yeah. Well, so oddly enough, that led, I was coin flipping between two. And since you did that one, I'll do another one because I think movies that get to me about being a bad day is it's like that where you're just in a bad circumstance. It's you didn't do anything per se. You're just going about your day and then bam, you're part of something. And Phone Booth kind of falls in that category for me because he wants to go about his faring ways. At, but the other one that I think about is because I think about the original or the alternate ending, however you want to say it, of Clerks, right? Clerks, he's doing a job, comedy, 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 and then the ending that would have
Right.
killed the franchise, if you've never seen it, the original ending of Clerks is he gets killed. Somebody comes in to rob him, shoots him. And that made me think, well, what movies are like that? And I think the best example of you're just trying to do your job and then it becomes the ultimate bad day for you is Collateral.
Hmm.
Jamie Foxx is a taxi driver. He's just picking up fare after fare, and then who does he happen to pick up? A contract killer, an assassin.
Yeah, I thought about picking this one too.
And it is played by Tom Cruise against type. He's not the hero. He is
A
horrible.
fantastic performance by Tom
Oh
Cruise.
yeah. Now it is actually, and I'm not one of those people that think Tom Cruise, everything Tom Cruise does is great. I'm much like with Tom Hanks. I'm like, well, when he does something great, it's great, but it's not all great. But yeah, Tom Cruise is actually unsettling, like unsettling in this role. But I think it's a bad day because Jamie Foxx, all Jamie Foxx is trying to do is his job. He's a cab driver. He's trying to make ends meet. He's trying to do his job, finish his shift, go home, and go about his day. And then his he picks up a fare, and it becomes the worst possible night he can imagine because he knows as he drives, everywhere he takes this guy, somebody's dying.
Hmm.
Somebody will get killed, and he is by proxy an accomplice at this point. But he also knows if he doesn't take him, he'll just kill him.
Yep.
And so, as we were talking about bad people having a bad day, Jamie Foxx as the cab driver having to drive the contract killer, Max. His name is Max. Max, the cab driver, having to drive Tom Cruise contact killer around to kill people, just to do horrible stuff. And that movie's directed by
Michael Mann,
Michael
right?
Mann.
Michael Mann, yeah.
It's actually one of, and Michael Mann has several good films. I would argue it's one of his better films too. It
I would
doesn't get
agree.
talked about as much as it used to, but it's definitely
Hmm.
again, it's a bad day. That that's not a bad. That's one of those days where you're like, I'm done. I'm done at the end of this shift. I'm done.
Hmm.
It's one of my top 5 Tom Cruise performances. So is that movie.
Yep. But yeah, so that's the other one. That's another one that came to mind for me.
Okay.
All right. So my second pick. So you're a bad guy, right?
I mean, I'm working on it. Chad G's way to call me out.
You do bad things for a living.
I know, Chad.
That bad thing is you kill people.
Oh no, I haven't done that.
Yeah.
You
Right.
improve. That you improve.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
one day you have competition, of course. Well, one day that competition decides to take you out by injecting you with a poison. And that poison has a side effect. It's going to kill you if your heart rate drops.
That's good. Yes, good. Good choice.
Thank you.
They'll even make a sequel out of it.
Yes. I'm talking about Crank with Jason Statham. I don't know why I'm suddenly developing a list.
I don't know why you dropped your voice octave either.
Yeah. No, Crank with Jason Statham. He's an assassin. He gets injected with a poison. He has to keep his heart rate moving really, really fast because if he doesn't, he's going to die. And all he wants to do is exact vengeance on the person who injected him. And he has to do all kinds of crazy shit during this day while he's trying to find the person who poisoned him. That includes having people shock him with paddles, putting his hand into a fucking waffle maker just to keep it going, snorting nasal spray after nasal spray after nasal spray because it has the ability to increase his heart rate somehow because of the medication involved. He even does real crazy stunts on a motorcycle. He has sex with his girlfriend in public to increase his heart rate. All
Mm-hmm.
this madness while he's trying to find this guy. Not to mention he's getting his ass kicked. He's getting in all kinds of trouble just so he can find this. I mean, if you're trying to stay alive by doing all this crazy stuff, I don't know what is a definition of a bad day. Now, in all fairness, you all know he does seem to kind of enjoy it.
Well, now, in all
Well,
fairness,
yeah.
though, that's who wouldn't enjoy hanging out with Dwight Yoakam,
Yeah.
That's true.
especially Dwight Yoakam playing crazy Dwight Yoakam.
Yeah, or Amy Smart being your girlfriend, who all these things.
Yeah.
They're all great. By the way, I forgot that Efren Ramirez, who was just in Hispanic Satanic, is in
Oh,
this
I don't
movie.
even remember who was in them other than him,
Yeah.
he and the girlfriend. And Dwight Yoakam. I always forget about Dwight Yoakam being in it too.
Oh my God, he's in both.
Now he's in both. I know. And those are directed by the what brothers were they? No, it's
They're
not
not
brothers.
brothers. Mark Neville and Brian Taylor.
Neville and Taylor. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my second pick. Bad Day,
All right.
Crank. And by the way, guys, you'll never guess my third.
For my third pick, I'm going to go classic. In a movie that actually is about something. It's about character. It's about doing what's right, even though you know you're going to fail. But it is a bad day, and it's actually on several lists for good reason. But it's actually is really a metaphor about the Red Scare and the blacklist in Hollywood. I'm going to talk about High Noon, which takes place almost, not quite, in real time, over an hour and a half. What was the last time either one of you watched High Noon? Because it's been a minute for me.
Last few years.
Yeah, it's been a while.
As a kid, I didn't quite. I mean, it's a Western, it's a black and white, and I like Westerns okay. Well, actually, I do really like Westerns. Good Westerns. I love good Westerns. But it wasn't until I got older that it kind of made more sense. I don't know about you all. Sometimes you just have
Yeah,
to
but then you look at
understand.
westerns and cowboys, and I still love them. But then you think of the historical aspect of it, and you go,
Well, okay,
"There's
now
a lot of white people there.
I
There's
know,
not all the cowboys."
I know. But I don't actually I don't always think about that, but I see your point. But basically, if you don't know what the story of High Noon is, and this is actually was Bill Clinton's favorite movie, was a couple of things. It starred Gary Cooper, who was 50 years old at the time, and he's a marshal in a small town, and this gang is getting out of jail, and they're coming back to take care of him at high noon.
By the way,
And,
does
go ahead.
Three Guys warrant a gang?
I thought it was three.
It's three guys, but does that necessarily define a gang? I don't
I think
think
it's the amount of damage they can do that triggers the gang, right?
I don't know. I hadn't really thought about it till you brought it up. I was going to talk about all the different actors that are in it, but I hadn't thought about if three was a gang.
three's not a gang.
Okay.
It's five or more, I think, is a gang.
So hold on. I mean, I don't mean to take this in a very negative.
Three's a crew.
Well, now I've got a question here, then, Chad. I'm trying to think of terminology that we hear in shows about prison.
Yeah.
So, if three people commit a sexual assault, is that then a crew rape? Because it sounds like it could be a gang rape.
It's a good question.
Is it?
Because, well, no, I literally because I'm thinking about the terminology used on television and films and everything, and you hear that term gang. So, what is the threshold?
I
Because
do.
Well, again, your television and film, not exactly. You
well,
should
yes, but
for
that's
your
my point is how
frame of reference.
I think if it's more than one, it's a group.
yeah.
More than two, I mean.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I mean, because I hear that terminology
Why
and they
don't you
use
ask your
that.
brother about gang rape?
I'm not sure which of us you're talking
Yeah,
to,
no.
but if you
I'm
think I'm
not
going to pick
sure. I know which one of I'm talking to. Actually, I was talking to James, but the joke's funnier if I go, I also don't know which one of you I'm surely talking to. Anyway, back to Gary Cooper. Gary Cooper, I didn't realize was 50 years old and actually had dropped and wasn't as popular as he was before he got this movie. It wasn't really, this isn't a huge film. And he basically plays, like I said, he plays the town sheriff, marshal, and they're coming back to exact their revenge. You've heard this story. Well, the reason you've heard this story is from this movie. It's been
Oh
copied
my
other
God, look
times.
up
Why?
legal definition of a gang, a group of 3 or more persons.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. So we were right. Also, where was I at again? Now
You
that
weren't
are
no,
you guys past gang
you
rape?
weren't right about anything. You're I don't know. That's not right.
Are you all done with your gang rapes?
I didn't say rape at all.
Yeah, it's weird that you keep obsessed
You
with it,
keep
Joe. Keep
going on
bringing it
about
up.
it. What's wrong with
Jeez.
you?
Lloyd
Gosh.
Bridges, Thomas Mitchell,
Jeez.
Lloyd Bridges has never been involved in a sexual assault, and I will not have you
Grace
besmirch
Kelly.
him.
You actually can't say that for sure. But Lon Chaney Jr., one of my favorite character actors, Lee Van Cleef, Sheb
Yeah,
Woolley.
he was great in Hunchback.
To watch High Noon, whoever's next, go.
No, go ahead. I
Yeah.
want
No,
to.
I'm done. I've now started 3 times. I can't even remember where I was going with it. Check out High Noon. He's having a bad day and has to
Lon
pick it up.
Chaney
What happens
Jr.
to
is
him?
one of your favorite character actors?
No, I said Lee Van Cleef.
Oh, I thought you said Lon Chaney Jr. because I was like, he couldn't act himself out of a paper bag.
He's still good. He's a Wolfman. There's a couple of things he's good in. But yeah, no, he's not a great actor.
Huh.
James, it's your turd. We destroyed
It's
Joe.
your
Good
turd?
job. Yeah, it's his turd. It's hopefully he doesn't pick a turd.
I mean, yo, I don't even know what's happening anymore. No, okay, so I was trying to think of an example that wasn't just movies because I try to keep us pop culture centered, go beyond that. And I was actually thinking that there's a wealth of video games that are completely centered around bad days.
Yes.
Because the majority of fighting games, especially for old school Nintendo, early Sega, Genesis type time period, was something happens and you have to deal with it. For instance, let me give you the example of the classic Nintendo game Bayou Billy. Now Bayou Billy lives in the bayou, ergo the name. He just wants
he
to
was in Captain Nintendo.
Yeah, he just wants to hang out with his girlfriend. When what happens, Joe? They come and
I
steal his
don't know.
girlfriend.
I've missed it.
They come and steal his girlfriend,
Well,
and
they're not supposed to do that.
he has to go through the swamps, and he don't want to go through the swamp. He wanted to hang out at his cabin
Well,
and
yeah,
just have a
because he might
couple.
have to fight with Amos Moses.
Yeah, well, he just wants to have a couple beers and all that stuff. By the way, the fact Bayou Billy, if you look at the thing, it's really how can we make Crocodile Dundee but not pay for Crocodile Dundee? We'll just set it in the American Bayou.
That's because you call Amos Moses.
Anyway, and so you had to fight through the swamps and everything to rescue your girlfriend. Same thing with Streets of Rage, right? Oh, they took our women. We have to go back and get our women. And so I just wanted to point out that
They really
we wouldn't
shouldn't take women.
No, we really wouldn't have many videos. Even think about Mario, the
Yeah.
original Super Mario, not the original Mario because that was on Atari. But look it up, kids. But the original Super Mario Brothers, dude doesn't want to be stramping around everywhere looking for princesses. He's a plumber. Stramping. He's stramping.
Is that a word?
I was trying to say stomping, and then I started to go for trampling.
And then you saw me and thought of tramp?
No, stomping and trampling became strampling. Strampling. Look it up. I made it up. If you
trampling right along, do.
He didn't want to do that. And so I just wanted to point out that we have an entire, I think most video games are based on people having a bad day.
Yeah.
None of them wanted to go on these. I mean, not there's a few exceptions, but a lot of them didn't want to go on these adventures. Something bad happens. and they have to go through and fight and do everything else to get to that point. So my point is, Yuba Bowl's House of the no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Um,
You
there's
could have
just a
went with
lot.
Postal.
I know I could have went with anything. But no, actually, my point was going to be, I think if we're talking about pop culture, we need to pause and say, there's a lot of films, but literally video games, maybe, and video games now make more money than films. Um, I think there's a lot of video games, with the exception of sports games. But if you're talking about action adventure, especially old school ones, they're all bad day games.
Mm-hmm.
Something bad happens. These people had to go on a quest. They didn't want to go on a quest. Some ancient evil has arisen. There's zombies now. There's something, something. They're all bad day games. They're all people are having a bad day and have to go on this quest to deal with it.
Hmm.
So that's just what my thought. I did want to bring up Bayou Billy though, because not enough people talk about Bayou Billy anymore.
I'm going to
Oh,
tell
you
you
could
the
also
same thing that I was told the other day randomly. Women be shopping.
well that I mean
It
that's
didn't have anything to do with what I was talking about the other day, and now I've passed it on to you.
well I mean
They be shopping.
You
yeah
stopped
there's
him, Joe. Good job.
no I was trying to think of Chad, do you remember the game? I'm blanking on it, but it was a Nintendo game about the soul of a Russian circus performer who breathes fire and then he gets to come back from the dead because he has to save somebody.
It's either
No.
Paperboy or Caveman Bank games.
No, there's also Chaikin the Undead Man. Do you all remember that was on it was one of the hardest games to beat ever, and he was trying to stop being immortal because he just wanted to die. It was one of the most depressing themes ever. And he finally you had to fight your way to death just to get death to kill you. And then by the way, even if you beat the game, death wouldn't kill you. And you just had to go on living.
That happens to me all the time.
It's a bad day. It's a bad day for Chaikin.
All right, who's next?
Chaikin. I can't pronounce it. I've only ever read it.
That'd be me. Okay.
Pop that, y'all.
So you're a military man.
I'm not. I refuse.
I
I'm
don't know
a
which one of he's
conscience.
talking to.
I'm a conscientious objector. I conscientiously object to doing any work.
You've captured your biggest foe. He's now in prison. You have given orders to maybe not the most reliable person to keep guard of him and three others. The person who was supposed to be there, not reliable. It's not there, resulting in the prisoner getting escaped and the three other soldiers getting pretty badly hurt. This leads to the man who you find out is this man's brother being sent away to a horrible camp, also resulting in the bad guy coming, completely destroying your military force, splitting it in two. You don't know where the other half is. Then they attack again. And this time, your brother's there. He's now facing your greatest foe who's about to kill him. And then what do? You jump in front of him. And then the bad guy, for somehow, some way, takes a snake, turns it into a spear, and throws it right into your heart.
That
Duke.
sounds like Tuesday.
Duke, G.I. Joe the movie. Worst day ever.
I don't remember it.
I'm talking about the animated movie from the 80s, not those Steven Sommer pieces of shits.
He only made one.
He only made the first one. Who made the second one? That was absolutely awful.
I don't know.
That
They're not
wasn't
going
as
to tell
bad.
you talking to him like that.
It was not as bad as the first one, but it was still not good.
I haven't went back and rewatched them. I don't remember. I remember the rocks in the second one.
The second one's more cartoonish, but it's still not good. But the animated film, yeah. And technically, guys, I should have asked for leeway on this one because it's not a midnight to midnight 24 hours. It actually starts at night and then bleeds over to the next day. So, yeah, it's Duke. I mean, he starts out fine. By the way, the other thing about this, I still laugh about this. The device that Serpentor and the new bad guys are trying to capture the broadcast electrical transmitter.
Yeah.
And the acronym, the initials are spread all across the device, which is
BAT? I'm sorry,
the
broadcast.
broadcast electrical transmitter.
Oh, BET.
But say the initials.
BET.
There you go.
I was muted, by the way. I muted myself. I was sitting here going, BET. It's BET. It's
BET.
BET.
I thought he was like,
If
well,
you
he
saw
worked
my
at
lips
Citadel.
moving, for those watching, if you saw my lips moving, it's because I muted
wouldn't
And
say
myself.
they
nothing.
call it the BET. They're going, he's got the BET.
Hmm.
Now, granted, BET wasn't around then, so but
Now
anyway.
they should have sued them,
But
and
yeah,
I don't know
poor
where they
Duke.
stole it.
Poor Duke, he used to be flawless. He got Cobra running, retreat, retreat. But then this episode, oh, the movie, he poor guy just got his ass handed to him. Poor
I haven't
Roadblock.
watched that movie in so long.
Poor Roadblock is blind.
All I remember is I was once a man. And now, honest to God, I remember the Adult Swim parody more.
Yeah.
No, you weren't.
Yes, I was.
I don't know why, but I just like I can sing
I watched it with my daughter today.
Yoda
She
better
had
than
no
I can
desire.
Lola.
She had no desire. She hated it. I'm like, come on, this is classic. I'm like, watch what happens, and then Serpentor, like I said, it still bugs me to this day. Is why does he turn the snake into a spear? It's just, I mean, and then he throws it at Duke, and it hits him right in the heart, and blood splatters everywhere. And then GI Joe makes that cop out ending because unlike with Optimus Prime, where they actually kill him in the movie, at the very end you hear somebody over the walkie-talkie go, "By the way, Duke's out of a coma."
Yes, but
They
he's
could-
going right into a divorce, so it doesn't matter.
What
Well,
they get?
what
They
killed
should
me
have
is
just left him in the coma.
well, when the series came back, by the way, because they did the same thing that Transformers did.
Mhm.
They
Yeah.
came back with all new robots. When
Yes.
when GI Joe came back to television, Duke and Flint, all of them were gone. So they could have just killed him, manned up, and said, "Oh yeah, the dude's heart flew out of his back. He's dead."
It's been a long time since I've seen it.
He got better.
I was watching the Transformers movie
Yeah,
along my
Logan.
kid the other day, and I couldn't remember half of it when I was going through. I was like, "Oh, I forgot about this. Oh, I forgot about this."
It's not as good as GI Joe the movie, the animated movie, because there's just too much music in that one.
You shut your mouth. That includes Weird Al, and I will not have you besmirch anything that includes Weird Al.
James,
God,
you do dare to be stupid.
I love the
I do.
song, but it does not fit into that movie at
No,
all.
You know
it
how
doesn't
that
even fit
happened.
in that action sequence.
No, it doesn't.
You know how that happened, right?
No, but I bet I'm going to find out.
It's
And
the
then
Scotty Brothers. All the songs came from Scotty Brothers, and they were a small offshoot of whatever
Mhm.
corporation. And like Weird Al was one of their main things, and so he found out he was going to be in it because they said, "Yeah," they said they wanted our main performers, and you're one of them. And he said, "What song?" And they're like, "They picked Dare to Be Stupid." And so, but now in their defense, I also was thinking if you look at when that movie came out, it was what, 86, 87?
Somewhere around there.
Weird Al didn't have too many songs. So, I mean, he had quite a few, but there were no songs I would have pointed to went, no, use that one. That's a much better fit for Transformers.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to do my Bologna.
Yeah, yeah. So, in all fairness, but that is the story. Scotty Brothers got the rights to do it because I'm betting, gentlemen, that they came in cheapest.
Probably.
Yeah.
All right.
And
Go ahead.
Any honorable mentions?
I have one.
I have a couple, but Joe,
I
go
do.
ahead.
I have a few, but I'm actually saving two of these for our next episode from James's idea.
Yeah, there's a bunch. There's so many that I want to talk about, but I think my honorable mention, because if we're saving some other ones, I want to say is Dread from 2012 with Carl Urban and Olivia Thirlby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dread, that's a bad day. Now, most people don't make it out of that one either, but it does take place in a day, and it's a pretty bad day. Next, and I'll save all the rest of mine.
I'm gonna do two because I know every time I do literary ones, y'all roll your eyes. So I'm just doing them as honorable
Not
mentions.
true. I'll just
No.
just
Yeah, no,
ignore you.
I just go let him talk and I sit back like this, really far away from the mic.
Yeah. No, I feel
You can go back further. Keep
Maybe
going back.
keep going. Backer,
Go back.
backer,
Back her.
backer.
Back
How's
her
this?
up.
I
Back
don't
her
have
up.
my headphones on. Are you waving at me?
Back
Get-
her up till you hear glass
Hi.
break, you bald son
Oh,
of a.
say
Hi,
go
guys.
into hold on. Go until you hear bones pop.
Yeah. Glow until you hear glass break, you bald son of a bitch, is what we were
I
saying.
ain't black. I ain't black in
Black?
that case. I ain't breaking that case.
Well, there you go. We know what you. All right, go ahead.
I just got Toxie. I'm not breaking him. He's cool.
Yeah. James.
The two. Now, some people, Joe, would tell you that there is one author that is the epitome of the bad day author.
Yeah.
He wrote this story about somebody waking up as a cockroach, and you may go, man, that's a bad day.
That is bad day.
He wrote tons of stories though about being a bad day because he also wrote The Trial.
Yeah, that's
never
another
read
bad day.
If you've never read the trial,
The twile?
The twile.
twile.
It's
The
a contagious,
twile.
James. I'm sorry.
It's twoo. It's
It's
twoo.
twoo.
Kafka. Kafka
Kafka.
knew me better than anyone. Twoo.
But it just has this line in it that sums it up the best. Someone must have slandered Joseph K. for one morning without having done anything truly wrong. He was arrested. And that's your kickoff point. And you know he's going to have an unfair trial. You know everything's going to go terrible and all that. The other one I wanted to do about
Well,
a
hold
bad
on real
day-
quick. Orson
you say-
Welles, they made a movie. They made a book out of that movie. It was Orson Welles did the movie.
Thanks, Joe.
Did you
You're
even
welcome.
say the title of the book? Because I
The
didn't hear you say-
trial.
The
Oh,
trial.
the
Kafka,
trial.
The
Sorry,
Trial.
you did. I'm sorry.
He
Uh,
twoo. It's twoo.
And the and why am I blanking on crap? Who wrote
Yes.
Grapes of Wrath? Steinbeck.
Steinbeck. Yeah.
Steinbeck also wrote, if I'm remembering correctly, and if I've got the author wrong, forgive me, it's been a long time, but East of Eden.
Yeah.
And East of Eden, you think you've ever had a bad relationship ending? You know, your girlfriend broke up with you? Let me just do this quick excerpt about what a bad day is. She stood 3 feet away. In her right hand, she held his 44 Colt, and the black hole in the barrel pointed at him. He took a step toward her, saw that the hammer was back. She shot him. The heavy slug struck him in the shoulder and flattened and tore out a piece of his shoulder blade. She tossed the pistol on the floor beside him and walked out of the house. That's a bad breakup, gentlemen. And that's 2 literary examples of a bad day. The Trial and East of Eden, if you haven't read them, I don't know if I'd say quickly check them out, but they're great ones. Actually,
Oh, and James talked about Orson Welles. Joe talked about Orson Welles, and we got to talk about the movie East of Eden that starred Rosie O'Donnell and Dan Aykroyd and Dana Delaney.
right.
You're trying to pull that one out.
Actually,
We're
there's one other bad day, and this is actually the only book.
This would be 3, James.
I know, but it
It is
just dawned on
3
me.
a.m. I must be horny.
This one dawned on me, and it is actually the only book, literally, I've ever read that gave me a nightmare.
It's the
that woke
only
me
book
up.
you've ever read.
that gave me a nightmare that woke me up from a dead sleep, and it still, if I think about it, it gets to me.
Sleep.
Gabino Iglesias's Coyote Song is a collection of bad days. You've got demons, you've got everything that can go wrong will, and there's a scene. The scene that woke me up from a dead sleep. It's a bad day. There are immigrants that are trying to get into America, and they're hiding in the back of a trailer truck, and you get the scene of them slowly suffocating when the driver just abandons the trailer in the middle of the desert, and the children dying, and that one woke
And
me
this
up.
has been Bonehead Weekly. So
That
I
one-
haven't done mine.
I
that
know.
one-
I was trying to just
that
let it
one
down.
woke me out of a dead sleep. That is horror, gentlemen, and that is the worst day I have ever read or seen or anything. And Gabino Iglesias is an international treasure, but good Lord, that book got me.
Chad,
Go ahead, Chad.
So yeah,
bring us out of this, Chad.
well, the way I handled my picks is like I said, I made a list and I tried to pick ones that we haven't really discussed in the past. Now I know in a long time ago we talked about Crank, and I believe a long time ago we even talked about what was my first.
I don't know.
Anyway,
I've still got dead kids in the back of the truck.
we talked
Thanks,
about
James.
guns. We talked about
Yep.
Guns Akimbo, but we have to talk about Quick Change.
Yeah, that's another good one.
quick change, and Joe, we got to talk about Cabin in the Woods. Bad Day movie.
It is a bad day, but Bill Murray is in another really bad day movie.
Zombieland.
That's no Groundhog Day,
Groundhog Day.
which
And
was going
then
to be one of my picks, but I thought we'd save it for something later.
yeah, and then also choose one of the first three, but Die Hard. I honestly was going to pick Die Hard with a Vengeance, just because I felt like he really got really damaged in that one versus Die Hard.
Die Hard with a Vengeance is more of a bad day movie than Die
Yes.
Hard, even though Die Hard, I do understand why it is, but to me, it's he wakes up hungover.
Cover, and then it's longer. It's
just
longer
long,
suffering versus Die Hard, just first Die Hard.
Yeah.
That is a drawn out suffering. And then finally Sisu, which I thought James was going to pick, honestly. I thought James was going to pick Sisu.
It's a bad day, but it's also a good day because he gets to kill all those Nazis.
But he
The
gets
only
the
thing-
shit kicked out of him too.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
he makes it and does get it and does get his money,
Yeah. And he gets to kill all them Nazis.
which makes James happy.
Dude, there is nothing better. I'll be honest. Like I said, you would have to be a master filmmaker to make a movie that would make me feel sympathetic toward the Nazi. I don't, or a master storyteller. There's never been a book. There's never been. It's a hard line. And I don't mean people that were forced to fight. I mean people that subscribed to that ethos and believed in it. I've never encountered any books. I've read historical.
No, I agree with you.
things.
There's never going to be anything that makes me feel sympathetic towards a Nazi.
There's a movie, it's a lady who falls in love with a Nazi. I don't know that it's very sympathetic, but it's the Verhoeven film he did in.
I think the only thing that comes close is Jojo Rabbit.
Yeah, they're Nazis. Yeah.
Yeah, Sam Rockwell's character.
Yeah, he is a Nazi. Yeah, that's not a bad example. I'm
Yeah.
trying to think of that one. I think it's Black Book or something like that. It's directed by Verhoeven. It's a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we done?
I think we're done, gentlemen. And then
All right.
I saved two of these because I am going to use them in our next episode that for the topic that James came up with. That I'm actually kind of excited to see what he does with it.
All right. This has been Bonehead Weekly. Hope you have a good day.
Read Coyote songs. They'll mess with you.